Hey everyone, this is Heather, and I'm here to talk to you about flipping your communication. This is take two because I actually just recorded this whole thing and didn't turn my microphone on. So we're going to try again, and hopefully this one will work better. So flip communication is something I'm really passionate about. It kind of fits in with blended learning, which I'm also super passionate about. So we're going to talk about some differences and how you can start flipping your communication. When I look at these three pictures, I consider them to be traditional communication. On the left, I have a newsletter. That's probably the newest in here. When I was in undergrad, I had to make a newsletter to introduce myself to my students' parents for student teaching, and that was like a big deal. It was one of the first newsletters I had to write. So they're definitely the newest of the three, but I still think they can be considered traditional because they are not used effectively all the time. The middle picture, I like to pretend that is a staff meeting. Looks like a principal's up and talking. Everyone's pretty much paying attention. There's food and coffee, so that kind of reminds me of a traditional staff meeting. And the picture on the right, it can be one or two things. It could be parents when they come to open house and they're sitting at their kid's desk. It could also be, maybe on the half days that we have built into our calendar, your school says, okay, if you want to learn about interactive notebooks, you go in Miss So-and-so's class. So it's a bunch of teachers sitting in another teacher's room for some sort of professional development. So all three of these are photos that I consider traditional. And when I ask people why, the most common answers I get are, oh, it's low tech. Yeah, sure, it's low tech. I also get, oh, there's only one person in charge. Sure, yep, there is one person kind of leading the whole thing. But the biggest reason I consider these traditional is that we've kind of always done it this way. When I was in fourth grade, I loved my fourth grade teacher, and I always tried to stay and hang out with her after school. She'd always be like, I can't, I have a meeting. So as long as I can remember, teachers have always had meetings. So staff meetings are not something new. It's kind of the way it's always been, and that reminds me of this quote that the most dangerous phrase in the language is we've always done it this way. Just because we've always done something one way doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way. It also doesn't mean that it's the only way. We can try something and it can be better, or it can be just as good, but easier, and that might be more beneficial for you. So just kind of keep that in mind. We've always done it this way. It can be really dangerous. So it's time to try something different. When I think about flipped communication, this idea kind of came to me because there is a ton of research about how successful flipped classrooms are. If they're done the right way. If you don't know flipped classrooms, that's where a teacher can post their lecture online. The kids watch it at night, and then they come to class with the background knowledge and can jump right into work. Group-based projects, problem-based learning, project-based learning in the classroom instead of having to get the lecture. The nice thing, if they watch a lecture at home, they can watch it over and over if they don't understand. So they can work at their own pace, which is one of those big components of personalized learning that a lot of schools are starting to move towards. So I was thinking to myself, well, flipped classrooms work so well. Why aren't we using that idea in other areas of education? And I think the biggest reason that people aren't using it is because making videos is not in your comfort zone. You don't like the way you sound, you don't like the way you look, you don't like technology, so you're scared of touching anything and making a video. Seems like it's really hard. Whatever the case may be, you're comfortable in your comfort zone, but I want to remind you that magic happens when you step out of your comfort zone. So think about times that you've tried something that you never thought you would do. Maybe it's like skydiving. Maybe it's a food that you're like, oh, gross, and then you tried it and you really liked it. So you step out of your comfort zone and good things happen. We ask our kids to step out of their comfort zone a lot. If you think about a kid who has learned at home that the only way to solve a problem is to fight, and they come to school and we're asking them to talk it out, that's stepping out of their comfort zone. Or maybe they know how to do traditional multiplication and we're telling them they need to do the lattice method. That's stepping out of their comfort zone. So we need to remember that we often ask other people to do this for us, but we don't do it ourselves. So it's definitely an opportunity to push yourselves and try something new. Why do you need to flip communication? Did you read that uh, little ribbon? I hope you did because it's super funny. I survived another meeting that should have been an email. How many times have you sat at your school and be like, oh my gosh, this staff meeting, it's just updates that could have been in an email? Now, I get the question of, well, what do you do with staff who don't read emails? That's a really good question, and that's definitely a culture change that would have to be initiated by a leader in your building. If I was a leader in your building and I started sending out emails, I would put in there like a Google form that had a couple questions attached. So after you read the email, fill out this form. If you don't fill out the form, you have to stay after school on Wednesday for a meeting. So it's one of those things, and when people start realizing, like, if I just read this email, I don't have to stay after school, they're going to start to change. But at first, as a leader, you might have to do an email and a meeting until that culture does change in your building. But there's a lot of things that we can do now that we don't have to spend time in a meeting for because it can be in an email or a collaborative document. Other reasons to flip communication, if this video will load. That's a Charlie Brown teacher, right? So these people are there in the meeting, but how engaged do they look? I'm pretty sure that this guy's on his phone. They don't look thrilled to be there. So what are they really taking away from this meeting? How much is going in one ear and out another? But other reasons that we can flip communication, we have a lot of parents who work at night and can't get to the school during the day or at night for a function. So we have a lot of teachers that are like, oh, this family's not involved. We have to stop and think sometimes about why aren't they involved? Are they out at third shift and they can't come to parent nights? Do they not have a car and your school's not on a bus route? Maybe the kid only gets to school in the morning because they take the school bus. So just some things to think about. We also have a lot of parents that work for some of our bigger financial institutions, and they have to travel Monday through Thursday for work because that's how they provide for their family. So it's not necessarily that they don't want to be there. Sometimes we have to remember to ask ourselves, why aren't they here? Other things to consider, how effective are your newsletters? If I'm a parent that travels Monday through Thursday, how do I see your newsletter? How do I know what's going on in your classroom? I'm not home, and it's not because I don't want to be involved. I call my kid every day, and I'm like, what did you do in school today? And they're like, nothing. So it's one of those things where if you had a video that they could have a little more put back onto the parent to watch to stay connected to the classroom. Another thing I really like is that videos can be housed in one place and they don't get lost in a backpack. You are asking children to be responsible to go home with this newsletter and give it to their kids or to their parents. Some of them are as young as 5. You're trusting a 5-year-old to get some important information home. That can be quite a task. Kids lose things. They smush things in their backpack. So a video, if you just have the parent know, like, hey, I post everything on YouTube, they can go there and check it out, and they don't have to depend on their 5-year-old with important information. Other things I really like, it does build engagement and relationships. I grew up in a neighborhood where the mailman walked our mail to our house, and our mailboxes were attached to, like, the top of my house, not at the bottom of the driveway. So when I saw the mailman walking with a manila envelope, I knew that that was the day I was getting my teachers or my schedules. Really, like, the most exciting day. But it'd be awesome if I opened my envelope and it said, like, oh, you're in Mrs. Haas's class this year. And the kid is like, who's that? But if it goes, like, there's a welcome letter that says, like, hey, check out our welcome video at this address, blah, blah, blah. And the kid can go online and get, like, a tour of the classroom or a tour of the school before they even step foot in your door. So you're getting to build that first impression. We have a lot of kids that are transient students, or kids especially that transition from an elementary school to a middle school or middle school to a high school, where they're learning a new building, and we could have tours online so they get a little more comfortable of where they're going, just really helping build that relationship and engagement with them before you even have to meet them. Something to think about. Get the content to your followers instead of making them come to you to find it. You know everything. You know, the kids want to know, when's our next math test? When's this? When's this permission slip due? What about this? What about this? You know all the answers. Your parents are going to email you questions. If you put that information out there for them in a video that they can reference whenever, even after they've lost your newspaper, that they can go back and watch it. That's something you're putting it out there. So get it to them, and they can go to it whenever they need it. It's not that they have to come to you for the help anymore. This is a video, make learning visible, or you could also consider it like a day in the life type video. A principal's doing this at his school, so I'm going to let this run, and then we're going to talk about some things I like and some things I don't like.
Hi everyone. This is going to be my last flip communication before I take my leave on December 6th, so I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you for what you do for your kids and for the rest of the Post and Kill community. The past few weeks have been really busy, but absolutely fun. I wanted to share with you what has been going on around here at Post and Kill School. First of all, we had a very successful food drive. It was sponsored by our kindergarten team. This is a picture of Mrs. Anadio and her students walking down the hallway with all the non-perishable food items. Thank you for all the parents who donated items from their home. Secondly, second grade held their annual stone soup for lunch, which is based on the very famous book. Thanks to all the parents who helped make it successful. No one broke a tooth, and all in all, there was some really great food. A big thanks to Monica Naller, Trish O'Donnell, and all the parents who donated their time to make our Scholastic Book Fair so successful. It was successful from a monetary standpoint, but more importantly, our students read a combined 33,205 minutes. That's up from 14,000 minutes from last year. And it was always really great to have Clifford join the day. And lastly, today was one of our favorite days of the whole entire year. It was Grandparents and Special Persons Day. A special thank you to Sarah Dio, Kathy Wood, and all of our PTA who helped donate their time, and for all of you who donated food. As you can tell, and if you notice, there's a common theme, and it's all about you. So whether you helped at home or at school, you make the PES a great community. From all of us here at PES, we hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. And for those of you who celebrate, a very happy Hanukkah. Goodbye.
Goodbye. He just signs off. I wish he had a cool sign off. My principal in middle school did our announcements every day, and he would always sign off, make it a great day, or not. The choice is yours. You know, and everyone in our building knew that saying. Whether or not we listened to it is another discussion, but he said it every day, and we all knew it. So he had a cool sign off. So that's the one thing I don't like about this video. But the things I really do like about this video, 1 minute and 56 seconds. It is straight to the point. Anyone can now know what is going on in that building, which is awesome. Other things I like, you don't see his face. So if you're not comfortable putting your face on the camera, you don't have to. He does have other videos where, like playground rules, and he's actually out on the playground, like demonstrating how to go down the slide and stuff. So clearly he is comfortable with putting his face on the camera, but it doesn't have to be all the time. So that's something to keep in mind. Anyone now knows what's going on. So if you do travel for work or you can't get up to school, you can see that the money you sent in for the book fair went to good use, or the canned goods also went to good use. Other things I really like, he tried to be funny. I don't know if you picked up on it, but he said he messed up, or he said no one broke a tooth when he was talking about stone soup. Get it? Stone's tooth. Get it? So he tried to be funny, tried to have personality, tried to show that he's real, which is sometimes some of our educators and our leaders struggle with, not being able to connect enough. So trying to make little jokes here and there helps. And the other thing I really liked is he messed up. He said at the end of the video, whether you helped at home. So he meant to say helped at home, but he said hoped at first. And he just kept going because he's human and he makes mistakes. I've made mistakes in this video already. If I tried to make this whole presentation perfect, I'd be recording for weeks trying to get it to be perfect. So, it's okay if you make a mistake. And he just kept going like it wasn't a big deal. So that's some of the things I really do like about this video. So how do you start doing this? Have a plan. That's it. You know as the teacher what's going on in your building. You know what's going on in your classroom. You know when things are due. Just kind of make a bulleted list of the information you need to share. You know, in math, we're working on this, and a test is this date. We have a field trip coming up on this date. Come on this date. So think about things that are going on. You know, field day is this day. Our Thanksgiving feast is this day. Whatever is going on in your building, share it. You don't. That's all. Just have a plan. What do you need to share? I have some motivational quotes on here because remember, you might be stepping out of your comfort zone, and that might scare some of you. But remember, when's the last time you did something for the first time? And if plan A didn't work, the alphabet has 25 more letters. Stay cool. So just remember, it's okay that this might seem hard at first. So mistakes are proof that you are trying. I already shared a little bit that I love how he made a mistake in the video, and I really want to emphasize that it's okay if you make a mistake. Teachers by nature are usually type A personalities, perfectionists at heart, and it is okay to make a mistake. If you write a newsletter and have spelling and grammatical errors, though, someone's going to call you out. Or maybe they won't call you out, but they silently judge you. If you make a video or make a mistake when you're talking, people just kind of let it go. We're humans. We make mistakes. You're talking and you might fumble over your words, and it's okay. So you're trying. So just remember that it's mistakes are proof that you are trying. Some cool tools. There's a ton listed in here, more than these. Some you're going to love, some you're not. But I put these in here. The video that principal made was on TouchCast. It's a free tool. It's really robust. It has green screen capabilities. You can have a ticker across the bottom, teleprompter, all this kind of stuff. So if you're new, you might not want to use TouchCast because it could be overwhelming, but it is a really good tool. If you're new, I love Screencastify. Super easy. It's a Google extension. You add it, you click it to start. When you're done, you click it again so it turns off, and then you can send it to YouTube or you can send it to your Google Drive. Super easy. Love it. YouTube's on this list because I just want to make you aware that you can create videos in YouTube and edit them now. It's not just an uploading service. So that's why it's on there. That brings me to this. Posting your video. Please post your video on YouTube. YouTube is not a scary place. We have to teach kids how to use tools appropriately so they don't make bad decisions. So just ignoring tools or blocking them doesn't solve that problem. Other reasons I really like YouTube. You already have a YouTube channel. If you don't believe me, log into your CMS Google account and then go to youtube.com. On the left, you can click My Channel, and if it's the first time you're clicking it, it will say you want to create your channel, you just hit create. You have a channel. So do your kids. So just keep that in mind that you already have one. So it's an easy place to start. You don't have to remember another username or password because it's the same as your CMS Google account. Other reasons I like YouTube, everybody knows it. If you told a parent, I have a YouTube channel, go follow me there, they know what you're talking about. They are not like, oh, here's CMS with another tool I have to remember how to get into. Nope, it's YouTube. Everybody knows it. Half the people have it as an app on their iPhone. Or Android, I guess. So just kind of keep that in mind. Other things, you can count your views. You can turn commenting on and off. You can turn liking on and off. So there's some options in YouTube. There's also some posting options where if you post a video, it can be public for anyone to see it. Unlisted would be like anyone with the link can see it, and then private, only you can see it. So there are some privacy options in there for you to use as well. My favorite thing about YouTube is that you can create a video and you can show kids how to do this, that they can turn on closed captions. When they turn on closed captions, they can pick what language they want them to appear in. So I create a video in English, show a kid how to put closed captions on, and they switch it to French for their parents who English is their second language. It's an easy place to start translating stuff. So it's a really cool tool that a lot of people are scared of. A couple tips. Don't be a restart junkie. Allow yourself to make mistakes. You're a human. It's okay. Don't use a script. Teach. If you're writing a script, you're writing a newsletter. So you might as well do that. use bullet points. What are the things you need to talk about? You know, when are things due? What events are coming up? Keep it short and to the point. Remember when you're recording, be clever and creative. Have a personality. Try and be funny. Don't be monotone. If you have to fake it and you feel like you're being super cheesy, that means you're probably doing a good job. Make it interesting for your kids or parents to watch your videos. I highly recommend this book. It's by Peter DeWitt, and when I say book, it's really like a pamphlet, super short read. Peter DeWitt is the principal that was in the video that did the Make Learning Visible. So it's a really good starting point. And it's called Flipping Leadership Doesn't Mean Reinventing the Wheel. And some of you may be saying, well, I'm not in a leadership position. Wrong. You're a teacher. You're a leader. You are the leader in your classroom. So you are in a leadership position. So definitely check it out. It's like $12 on Amazon. Worth it. So what you're going to be able to do is you get to check out some of the tools that I mentioned in here or that are mentioned in the course. Pick one you want to try and use, and you can make a video. It can be, a screencast about how to get to like your website. It can be about a tool. You can make a Meet the Teacher video. Whatever you want to do, create your YouTube channel and post it on there, and you're going to share your URL with us, all right? So definitely try it out. It's not so scary. Remember, you don't have to tell anyone the link so no one can find it if you don't want them to. So just some things to keep in mind. It's definitely stepping out of your comfort zone, but that's where the magic happens.